I recently did an Ask Me Anything on personal finance and money on my Instagram, and I got a number of really good questions. One of the top questions that I got was, should I pay down my low interest student loans quickly, or should I invest the money? And that got me thinking, not just about that question, but also about debt in general. So as part of the Let's Get Financially Fit series, where we aim to get financially in shape, I decided to make this video on how to prioritize and pay down debt. Stay tuned because I include my answer to that Instagram question later in the video. Hey guys, Melissa Dargan here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on personal finance and all things money. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Thanks for the support and helping me crush the YouTube algorithm. And press subscribe if you haven't already to be updated whenever new videos on personal finance and money are released each week. Only a few things in life are free, and subscribing is one of them. Please subscribe and thank you. Oh, don't forget to grab your favorite drink. Water for me again because it's dryuary. Yay, said no one ever. And join me to learn more about how to prioritize paying down debt. There are all kinds of debt: student loans, credit cards, mortgage loans, car payments, and more. As you can see, here is the average amount owed by a U.S. household. I want to point out that there's an average of $7,000 in credit card debt and nearly $57,000 in student loans. Many people have a mixture of debt. Some have cars and credit cards, others have homes and student loans. Whatever your situation is, this video is going to help you prioritize and pay down that debt. We'll go over the best way to think about how to pay down any kind of debt that you have. And rather than just talk, let's use an example. Here's a challenge question. So let's say after you pay down your rent, utilities, and necessities for the month, you have $1,000 left to pay down your debt. And let's say these are the 4 items that you owe money for. First, there's a credit card with $2,500 in the balance at 22% interest rate with $70 a month minimum payment. Then you have student loans, $20,000 at 3.5% interest rate at $400 a month minimum payment. Next, there's the car loan, $8,000 at 7.5% with a $250 a month minimum payment. And lastly, there's the second credit card with a $1,000 balance at 16% with $30 a month minimum payment. What would be your strategy? Which would you pay down first? Keep in mind that in this scenario, we can't consolidate the loans. These are the 4 loans that you're going to have to repay at these interest rates. Go ahead, feel free to take a second, hit pause, and when you come back, I'll go through my simple 5-step answer. All right, ready to see how easy it is to start prioritizing and paying down your debt? Here's the simple 5-step answer. Step 1, first and foremost, you want to be sure that you're paying the minimums every month. So in this case, you want to be sure that you're paying the $70 a month for credit card 1, you're paying the $400 a month on the student loan, you're paying the $250 for the car loan, and you're paying the $30 for credit card 2. At the very least, you want to be sure that you're on time and paying the minimums because you don't want to be late. Lateness can affect your credit score, and you want to avoid that at all costs. Then for step 2, after you've paid down the 70 plus 400 plus 250 plus 30, which equals 750, you'll have remaining $250 to allocate extra to paying down any of these other 4. And so where would you allocate it to? You have options. You could do $125 and $125 to both credit cards. There are different choices, and I'm going to walk you through what I think would be the best way to allocate the $250 remaining. The plan will be to pay the debt with the highest interest rate. So in this case, it's going to be credit card number 1 with 22% interest rate. The goal here is to pay down any debt that has very high interest rates because it's expensive to borrow that money. Just think about it. If you're trying to borrow $100 at 22% interest rate, it would cost you $22 to borrow every 100 versus a 3.5% interest rate where it would only cost you $3.50 for every $100. And so you really want to aim to pay down any high interest rate loans or debt that you have because that's the most efficient way to use your money. Next is step 3. Let's say you prioritize credit card number 1 and eventually get it down to where you have a zero balance, which is amazing. Awesome. What's next? In step 3, the goal now is to pay down the next highest interest rate, which would be credit card number 2. And ideally, you'd want to get credit card number 2 at a 16% interest rate down to 0 as well. Quick aside, once you get both of the credit cards down to 0, which would be an awesome accomplishment, I would still keep the credit cards open and use them as a line of credit just in case you need them, or be smart about it where you only use it to charge things that you can pay down at the end of the month. The key here is to pay down whatever you charge on your credit card at the end of each month so that you don't carry over a balance and pay a high interest rate. So if you're thinking about buying something but you can't pay it down by the end of the month, hold, do not buy it because it's not going to be worth the 16% interest rate that you're going to have to apply to that balance. Back to the challenge question, what would you do with the remaining student loan and car loan? This brings us into step 4, where I would work to pay down that car loan at 7.5%. And the reason why is because even compared to any average market rate of return, which can range from 5 to 8%, that 7.5% is still fairly high. So my next goal in step 4 would be to pay down the car loan. And now for step 5. Once you've paid down credit card 1, credit card 2, and the car loan, and you're now just left with the student loan, it brings it back full circle to that question on Instagram of, should you pay down your low interest student loans quickly or should you invest that money? So now you have $1,000 a month and just the student loan debt to repay. What do? You can either, with the $1,000, use all $1,000 and start paying down that loan quickly, or what you could do is use $400 of it to pay down the minimum at the 3.5% and use $600 remaining to invest. And for me, because of the market rate of returns currently today, which at this point, even if I just made at least 5% rate of return, I would still be making money into putting that $600 in investing and in the market versus quickly paying down that student loan. I'd be using my money to make money and be at a net positive. Yes, there is some risk, and I recognize that the market could go down. That being said, I'm willing to take on the risk where I want to make my money ideally work more efficiently and smarter. And for me, putting it into the market and hopefully getting a net positive is a better option. It is important to call out that putting the money into the market can be risky and is not guaranteed. I could lose the money. If losing the money would put a financial strain on you, you may want to rethink choosing this option where you're going to put it into the market and be a little risky. Perhaps doing the steady option for you is better. For me, I accept the risks. And it's because I don't just put money into whatever stock. I assess the market, I analyze the trends, and I make calculated investments to ensure that I'm not just throwing money away. And if you're interested to learn in my investing strategies, go ahead and hit that like button. And in the comments below, go ahead and type in, what are your investing strategies? If I get enough interest, I'll make another video to share how I invest and what my portfolio of individual stocks and mutual funds are. Now, I do have to say that there is nothing wrong with choosing the option of paying down your student loan faster. For some people, there's a mental block of just knowing that they have tens of thousands of dollars in student loans, and trying to get that to zero will just be better for them mentally. And so for those people who want guaranteed steady payments of using the $1,000 to pay down their student loans quickly, that may be a preferable option. You really can't go wrong here. It just depends on your level of risk. Are you willing to use this extra $600 and possibly earn more in the market? Or do you just want a steady state to pay down your student loan? That's up to you to decide. So here are the takeaways of prioritizing and paying down debt. Number 1, make sure you always pay the minimum amount. Number 2, if you have extra money to pay down debt, start with the highest interest rates. Number 3, aim to get to a point where you can pay down your credit card balance to 0 every month. And number 4, if you're left with low interest loans and you can make more money in the market and get better returns, you may want to think about investing that money. Just know that there is risk and that there is no guarantee if you put the money in the market. Now, if you found this video helpful, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Thanks for the support. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Press that subscribe button to be updated whenever new videos on personal finance are released each week. See you in the next video. You're still here? Now, if you want to continue to get financially fit, go ahead and check out my other videos that have great money tips on how to get into financial good shape. See you in the next video.